Kaitlin and we're going to do an interview with them. And the first question is simply this. Tell us the why and when you came to Guam.
I got stationed out here with the Navy. So when I was up for picking orders, Guam was on my bucket list, and it became an option this go around. So I made that decision before we were dating. It was when I knew I was going to be coming to Guam. So then that was part of the discussion.
I got stuck out here.
Because
my wife is in the Navy. And I am now married to the Navy.
Yes, he is.
For better or worse.
Well, and the fact that it took you 2 wedding services to get married, hopefully it's for better. So,
Yeah, that's right. The second one was not party.
All right. You came during the pandemic, and you had to be quarantined. Tell us a little about your arrival and what happened and who helped you out and all that good stuff.
So I had a sponsor. The military tries to assign all newbies a sponsor when they're coming in so that they can show them around and get them checked in at the command. So we got to Guam at like 10 or 11 at night, I think, and our sponsor came and picked us up and got us to we call it Big Navy. Naval Base Guam is considered Big Navy because the hospital base is on a separate installation. But anyways, took us down to Big Navy at the Navy Gateway Inns and Suites was the hotel, but they also own houses that military stay in. So we were quarantined in one of those for 2 weeks. And we couldn't leave or go anywhere, but we were allowed to walk around outside as long as we didn't have contact with anybody. So it's kind of lax for quarantine. But
yeah, as far as the flight went, there were hardly any people on the flights. They didn't serve any food whatsoever between our 3 different legs from Missouri to Houston, from Houston to Honolulu, and from Honolulu here. So by the time we got done with our 20-plus hour flights,
we were hungry.
We were pretty hangry.
Yeah.
So I was not Hawaii's biggest fan.
So what was your first meal?
Our first meal was Mosa's, which
Yes.
coincidentally we took the parents to today. So they got their first taste.
Kind of describe the geography and the weather that you experienced in Guam
When?
since you've been here.
So unlike the Midwest, where we both are from, there are only 2 seasons instead of 4. We don't have summer, spring, fall, and winter. We have rainy season and dry season. When rainy season hits, it's water every day. When dry season finally gets here, it's
Water
occasional.
somewhere every day. It still pretty much rains every day, but just somewhere on the island rather than pretty much everywhere on the island.
Yep.
So
During dry season, the rain is basically like Florida rain. It comes and goes pretty quick. It's here for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just downpours and then goes away. And the sun comes right back out.
So have you guys experienced a typhoon, bad storms, earthquakes?
So, no typhoons, but one of the earthquakes that hit down here shook the whole house, knocked some things on the shelves over, shook the bed with us in it. Since everything's tile floor, the metal posts of the bed move pretty easily, and so then when everything was shaking, the whole bed moved several, probably inches. But that was a little nerve-wracking. It's my first earthquake experience.
Yep, mine too. Other than that,
Yeah.
normal tropical storms.
Well, since your parents and in-laws have been here, we have found that there are tons of advantages of living here. but have you experienced any disadvantages of living in Guam?
Some people would say the lack of certain amenities that we get used to in the States is a disadvantage, i.e. no Starbucks. For us, it's not really an issue.
People tend to miss, the things I hear at work the most are they miss Chick-fil-A, they miss Target, and they miss Starbucks. I think those are the three biggest places I hear complained about the most.
Yeah, the closest thing to Target that we have here is Ross and Kmart.
Yeah.
The last one.
Share with us some of the fun things that you've done here while you've been in Guam.
Diving, hiking.
Traveling to Palau.
Yeah, we did. We took vacation to Palau, which was another island with more diving. Yeah, diving and hiking is our prominent free time thing that we do, I guess. I went skydiving once just because I'd never done it, and that was pretty fun. You golf a lot.
Golfing, off-roading. Yeah, that's really about it as far as outdoor activities go for us.
Yeah.
You had the Navy ship over your pickup truck, which now you don't have since we've been here. Tell us about the vehicles you do have.
Well, like you said, we shipped over our Chevy Silverado, full-size pickup truck that we had since we were in North Carolina. We had it for about a year and a half here, and ultimately we were going to leave it here. So at that point, Kaitlin was able to customize a 2022 Jeep Wrangler. Since we've lived on the island, I have had a 2006 two-door Jeep Wrangler. I now have a 2015 four-door Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. And our newest addition since the truck left is a Honda Acti K-Car.
Tell us about what makes that a special vehicle here on Guam.
So the K-Car, just recently, you can now ship back to the States. There was some embargo restriction. You have to wait 25 years to be able to ship this current vehicle back to the States. It's a tiny little two-door truck, right-hand drive, stick shift, and my mother is a huge fan of it.
It's also apparently considered a commercial vehicle because of the bed and the axis and that kind of stuff. So USAA wouldn't insure it, and we had to seek local insurance coverage, which was quite an adventure.
So it gets muddy in Guam, particularly during the rainy season. But you've done some off-roading. You've got some pictures we're gonna show of kind of a before and after. But tell us a little bit about your off-roading experiences. Is this something that Kaitlin would do with you?
She says she would. She hasn't experienced it yet.
I'm usually either at work coming off of shift or I'm on night shift. I think there was one time where I was actually had the ability to go and I was so exhausted that I passed on the opportunity. So I haven't been yet, but I will eventually.
Yep. So typically on Saturdays after our normal work shift, a couple of my coworkers and I will go and hit the off-road scene, or a random Sunday when everybody's going in. Depending on which location we go to, it's pretty normal and pretty safe. And if we're going on the long excursions, it can get pretty dicey. The terrain is basically all clay. So when it gets muddy, it gets very sticky very quick. So the red Rubicon has been stuck quite a few times.
Still red.
Still red,
I mean, even after it's muddy,
even when it's muddy.
it's just a different shade.
That's right.
So what's your social life like here, and how do you make friends?
All of my friends are work friends. Just pretty much military people that I work with or have met at the hospital. I don't interact much with locals or other people out unless they're patients, but that's for a very short period of time, and yeah, I haven't made any non-work friends. So
I make friends with my bright and shiny personality. Just like Kaitlin said, a lot of our friends are her coworkers. As far as the Navy goes, all of my friends from work are all locals. So I work with 90% locals at work. So they've introduced us to the off-road scene and had some good times.
Well, since we've been here, we've had the joy of getting to know Bear and Copper. And tell us about Bear and Copper and what makes them different from a typical mutt in the States.
they call them boonie dogs. Basically, I can't remember the exact origin of what started them. Do you remember what breeds they said you started boonie dogs?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of German Shepherds, Pit Bulls and Rottweilers, just a whole conglomeration. At one point, Corgis were introduced as well, which is why you'll see quite a few short-legged boonie dogs around.
I feel like there were a lot of, initially it was the terriers and stuff, because the majority of the dogs that you see that are strays or what they call boonie dogs are smaller bodied, smaller stature, and some, yes, have very short legs because other small breeds like corgis got introduced. And then I feel like the bigger breeds got introduced and started mixing when they had more military presence, because getting your pets on and off the island was extremely expensive. It is extremely expensive. So whether the pets ran off and got lost, or people would literally just have to leave them here because they couldn't afford to get them off island. So dogs either got abandoned or rehomed and then abandoned and just started mixing with the local population.
So Bear and Copper are boonie dogs.
Yes.
But you got them as puppies.
Yes.
And how long have you had them?
So we've had them since they were
14 months-ish.
14 weeks.
14 weeks.
Yes, weeks. Sorry, weeks.
We got introduced to them through one of Kaitlin's coworkers. Originally, her coworker was adopting Copper. She knew that we wanted to adopt as well, so we were interested in adopting Bear initially. And then when they came to come do a home visit, we learned that Copper was available as well. So we couldn't say no.
Yep. A couple of sisters found them with the mom up north, and I think it was Tumon was the village that they were in. They found them as puppies. They were little when they found them, roughly 10 or 12 weeks, I think, maybe younger.
10 or 12 days.
Yeah, their eyes were open, and they were babies. They gave us pictures of them, so we've seen how little they were, but found them with the mom, basically fostered them, and then put them up through adoption I think we went through Boonie Baby Project was who they went through to adopt them out. And so once we got our house and were out of hotel living, we were able to bring them in, and they were finally with us. And they just turned 2 on January 14th.
When you return to the States, will Bear and Copper return with you?
Yes. We've already got a savings budget for the move back that includes or is planning on their expenses.
And they just passed a bill that gives a stipend or a certain amount to each family who has a pet that needs to be relocated from the military.
And they are brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers.
Yes.
We know they're from the same mom, and we believe they had different dads, which is possible.
So now what really possessed you to get 2 Booney dogs?
We wanted, like, we talked about, because we weren't able to bring Shadow, which is his dog, out here, and so he wanted to get a dog while we were out here. I was initially against it because I wanted a German Shepherd, and like I wanted a pure breed AKC, like a very specific dog. And so initially I was against it, and then he was looking at puppies constantly
Yes.
on Facebook and everything. And one of our favorite pastimes out here is to go to Jimmy D's, which is a dog beach, with our friends. And
Yep. According to our sponsors and coworkers, the running joke when being stationed in Guam is you either get married, you get divorced, which both are not an option because we're already married and we're definitely not getting divorced. You have a baby, which is currently not in the plans for at least a couple more years. Or you get a dog. So we went with the fourth option.
yep, so I guess we're getting a
And
dog.
got two.
Yep. So, and that's been true for pretty much everybody we've met out here so far. Most of them have gotten dogs. I've known one person who went through a divorce, and one of my coworkers just got pregnant. So it's held true.
So far.
Yeah.